Okay, folks, number 34. So in this question, what we're doing is we're just kind of guess and check. And the thing is, you could build an equation, but I've just seen folks like make equations that they're confident in and get this question wrong. So I don't know. Look, Laura is less than half because Doug spent 40 hours more in the lab than Laura did. So how many hours did Laura spend in the lab? Less than half because he spent more than her. I don't know, pick Laura equals some number that's close by. Make L equal 105 and just see what happens. Well, Doug, when added to Laura, has to be 250, so you would say like 250 minus the 105, and that would give you what, 140? 135? 145? Okay, so that was too big of a gap. So go to a bigger number for Laura. So look, this was a difference of, I'll just write down here, this is a difference of 40. Oh, that's exactly what we wanted. Look at that. Okay, folks, let's look at number 34. So, here's a question where we don't have multiple choice answers, and yet this strategy is still going to be effective. It's still going to be useful. So Doug spends 40 more hours in the lab than Laura did. How many hours does Laura spend in the lab? Start with just writing Laura is less than half, less than 125. Because if she spent 125, then they would have equal amounts. So try some number smaller than that. Some people might try 40 less, but if you go 40 less for Laura, then that means, well, let's try it out just so you can see. If you say, okay, well, let's say 40 less than half. Now let's say L equals 85. Right? What happens to Doug then? Well, Doug is equal to then, what, 250 minus that 85? And that's equal to 165. So this is too big of a gap, right? So go to a smaller value for Laura. I don't know, try out 100 if you want. And if she's 100, it's pretty easy to figure out that 250 minus 100 is 150. Okay, so we're getting close. This is a gap of 50. We need to be closer than that, so Laura must do more hours. If you want, you try 110. And I'm trying these numbers just to kind of show you in good faith, if you just kind of like picked some numbers, what would happen. Look, now we're at 30, right? So these add up to 250. Now we're at 30. So the difference between those, we want to get halfway in between there. It must be that L is 105 and then D is 145. Those add up to 250. And the difference is 40. So of course you could create an equation, but I don't think it's worth your time to make an equation because that wasn't that hard to do. We tried out 3, maybe 4 values tops, and with a calculator that's super fast. If you do it with an equation, you're likely to have a false sense of confidence. So the equation should be, by the way, if you wanted to do an equation, L plus D equals 250, and L equals D minus 40. Right, Doug minus 40 is Laura. So you can now solve. The problem here is if you don't use L's and D's, or if you use X's and Y's, you could get confused, or you could just make the wrong equations. So that's why I like to just throw real numbers in it. So hopefully that's helpful.